thing that you're gonna do for the mystery recipe on day 1 is heat your oven to 400. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat that to 400 because we're gonna be baking on the same day. And in a medium saucepan, this is the saucepan that's gonna be the pot with the handle, you are going to heat water and butter to a rolling boil. So if we want rolling boil, we're gonna use power boil.
What is that noise?
And our butter will melt. This is a strange dough because it's made on the stovetop, and usually, you know, it's done without heat. Most dough is done without heat. Okay, so the power boils. Okay, and it says I'm gonna stir, with a wooden spoon, stir my flour and reduce the heat to low. So the flour goes in, and I'm reducing my heat to low. And I'm mixing until all the flour looks combined. And you don't want to really be too gentle about it. You really got to kind of put a little energy into it. And if you see any white pockets of the flour, you want to mush those out definitely with the wooden spoon. So it says stir vigorously over low heat for about a minute until the mixture forms a ball. Do you see it forming a ball? And it says beat in eggs all at once as quickly as possible. I like to smooth out the dough a little bit on the bottom so that my eggs are not coming into direct heat with the hot bottom pan. So it helps if the eggs have already been beaten. And at first you're gonna think there's no way this is coming together. But if you give it a little time, the whole thing comes together. I started with the fork. I'm gonna switch back to the wooden spoon. And it says as quickly as possible, continue beating until completely smooth. So right now I can still see that not all of the eggs are absorbed. And some recipes call for this to be done in the mixer, and the mixer definitely does help. But we're gonna do this. And it should make you a little tired. And we're trying to beat some air into it, and we're also trying to combine it. Okay? So at this point, onto an ungreased cookie sheet, we're gonna drop dough into 4 equal rounds, about 3 inches apart. So I'm gonna put my dough off to the side, and we just have one of these non-stick pads on here. And you want to visually look at the dough and decide about how much is going to be 1/4. So what you could try to do here is maybe do 2 scoops each, 2 of the purple cookie scoops, and see how that works out. As much dough out as you can. Now this kind of dough stays in whatever shape you leave it in. So if there's a little peak right here, it's gonna bake up exactly like that. So I have this little bit of water here, and using wet fingertips, okay, you're just gonna try to smooth out any peaks that you have. And the little bit of wetness allows you to not stick to the dough. So wherever there's a little peak, you're gonna just pat that down. And they're gonna bake for 35 to 40 minutes until they're puffed and golden. They're gonna look done before they are done. They're gonna look brown, but the eggs in here are gonna need to set up and solidify. So what happens is if they're brown and you take them out too early, they'll collapse. So we don't want them to collapse. So even though they might look brown, you wanna give it the full 35 to 40 minutes, which is why we took last.